Hi, my name is Anyea Garrido from Emphasis on Curls, and you are listening to Trendy with Kim Allison.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Trendy with Kim Allison. You guys, are you ready to unlock your best curls? Today's guest, she's here to show you just how to do that. Her name is Anyea Garrido. She's out of the Bay Area and she is a curly hair specialist. She's here to share her tips and her tricks and to help you get your curls best success. So, everybody, are you ready to be inspired? Anye, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I am so happy to be here.
Oh my gosh. Okay. First of all, where do we start with how gorgeous you are?
Thank you.
Down to your face. Your hair is freaking amaze balls. Anyone else would have like, I don't know, 15 ounces of wefted curly 1B. But you are your natural self, which this is
Mhm.
incredible. Like, first, what is your background? Because I know everybody is going to ask.
Thank you so much. My hair has been a journey. So my background, my mother is Chamorro from Guam, the island of Guam, and we have some Japanese in there as well. And my father is Black and French.
Oh my gosh, you got the best of all worlds. I
Thank you.
mean, Black, French, Latina. Is
Pacific
it?
Islander.
Oh, Pacific Islander.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. Why did I say Latina? Kim, you're a geographic idiot. I swear. Like,
No
yes,
worries.
absolutely. I can see it now. Perfect. You're
Mhm.
gorgeous, like I
Thank you.
said, and I'm so happy to have you here because if anybody knows about curly hair, I'm sure it is you. Not only do you have the density, you have the definition and the length, the everything. So I'm sure just whether you've had technical training or not, just your whole life you've had to manage these curls. So right there, you're qualified. So tell us, because I always say we don't find hair, I think hair finds us
Mm.
somehow. How did you wind up in this crazy industry of ours?
It started as a child struggling with my own hair. I clearly remember looking in the mirror at like between the ages of 6 and 8 and saying, if I don't find someone that can understand my hair, I am going to become that person. And that's where the journey started.
Yeah, did you grow up going to hair salons? Like where were you raised? I know you have these beautiful cultures all in your DNA, but where were you raised? Were you raised here in the States or in Guam?
I was born here in the Bay Area, and then at the age of like 6, we moved to Guam, and then I spent every summer and holiday out here in the Bay Area. So I like
Oh,
best of both worlds.
okay. I love that. That's nice.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So let's step behind the chair and our bathroom mirrors and get into some of the most commonly asked questions and concerns that people have about curly hair. And that would include myself. Let's educate for a second first,
Mhm.
because one of the biggest questions that we get behind the chair or whether we're the wearer of the curls in our bathrooms is how do we care for this? Like what's the maintenance for this? So let's start with how often should curly hair be washed?
So that's really dependent on the wearer and their lifestyle and where their scalp is. All I do is educate behind the chair with my clients. And then I also educate pros and I educate professionally with a brand as well. And it always starts with the scalp. If your scalp is not healthy, nothing else is going to thrive. So anyone can wash their hair. Some wash every 2 to 3 days, some 7 to 12. It really depends on where you're at. And the first step is really understanding your scalp and then understanding your lifestyle and pairing a plan together that works for both.
Yeah, and, I we've heard rather that if you wash your hair too often, it's gonna strip your natural oils. Is that myth or is that fact?
It depends on the hair. I do
Okay.
have some clients that they need to wash more frequently and some that need to wash less. But the key is also pairing with a really high quality product that helps to keep that pH balance in your hair and to not overstrip.
Yeah, so for example, somebody who works out all of the time or somebody whose hair produces or that gets super oily, for example, they would be someone who would need to wash more often.
Yeah, definitely could be. I mean, a lot of the times the problems and the situations that we're finding our scalp and our hair in is the result of miseducation with surrounding with products. I believe that marketing has come in and really kind of given us more challenges than actual solutions. You know, marketing speaks to the pain points, and instead of following and listening to your gut, now we're bought into something that we believe is happening to us. For example, a lot of my clients, when they come in and we're going through the consultation, a lot of them truly know what's going on with their hair, but they always default to, but I read this, but I saw an influencer talk about this. But their original, what they originally thought is actually what was accurate and kind of where they should have followed. But then they got that misinformation that led them on another path.
Yeah, so would you say we should listen to our hair the same way we listen to our bodies then? Like, let
Absolutely.
your hair tell you what it needs versus what you feel you are misinformed about, and that you should probably, listen to the professionals or what you've read or the influencer you follow, etcetera.
Absolutely. I do believe listening to yourself and then having a really great partnership with a specialist where the two of you can navigate those situations together.
Okay. All right. Perfect. And what line is your favorite line to
My
use for curls?
hair care line,
Mhm.
Innersense Organic Beauty.
Ooh, I love that. And why do you love that so much?
I love the brand so much because I was a consumer with them before I was a professional. And so I had that experience of frustration and trying all the things and having just every single product in my bathroom. And when I first got my hands on Innersense, right from the time I shampooed my hair, it was a game changer. Everything was different, everything felt different. I felt like I could actually feel my hair and not what at the time, now I know, and in hindsight, was buildup on my hair, but I was able to really truly feel what my hair felt like. And my curls were the curliest that I've ever seen them. Like I thought my hair was at the curliest state that it was. And then when I actually started to strip things back and use Innersense, it like all this happened.
Yeah, look at that. That's amazing. And we're gonna dive into some of what those favorite products you like to use in that line are. But before we go into that, let's get into another pain point, to your point and how marketing can captivate us, if you will. One thing, when you're trying to, especially working behind the chair, you wash your client's hair, especially if they have naturally curly hair, doesn't matter what ethnicity they are. And you tell them how beautiful their curl is. Like, why are we straightening this and blowing this out? And they're like, oh, it's pretty now, but not when it dries. And you should see it later in the day when I try to rock it curly. Doesn't work. So they divert to straight. The biggest concern is the frizz. Do you have any tips for how to control the frizz?
So, one of my first tips is trying to understand what they consider to be frizz, because there are different types of frizz, right? There's the frizz that is damaging, and then there's like the natural frizz, like all this. Someone would say, like, this is frizzy. This is what I actually love. This is what gives my hair its volume, and I feel like is the true essence of like the big hair and the curly hair. So first, I want to identify what does frizz mean to you, and then also because I also get a lot of compliments in my hair, and I'm like, my hair is like 70% frizz. So we need to find out kind of where your mindset is surrounding with frizz and why do you think it's bad? Because there are good frizz and then there's functional frizz, then there's the damaged stuff. What's damaged, we need to work through, but what is functional, I'm going to show you how to use it to your advantage. But I don't believe that anyone should really focus on having every single curl defined with zero frizz. It's not realistic and it's only going to cause more frustration. So I like to partner with my clients to kind of slowly ease them into like frizz can be good. There's a good frizz, you know? And
That's
I,
so funny. I mean, I love that you said that because, you know, and I guess the education would be learning what the difference between good frizz and bad frizz, and what does that entail? Like what creates good frizz versus bad frizz? So that would be the education from your curly hair specialist. And also, I love frizz in your hair, what I'm looking at, because it
Mhm.
gives just personality. It is natural. It gives dimension, if you will.
Mhm.
We talk about dimension a lot in hair color, and
Yeah.
we also talk about dimension with layering hair and, creating movement within structure. So that's
Mhm.
the way I identify frizz. It creates movement within a structured look, if you will.
Exactly. I like to share that, when you're getting an updo, the first thing they
Mhm,
do is they curl your hair and they start to back comb it. Curly
mhm.
already naturally have that. Like we already have that. You don't have to put that into our hair. So when I kind of make that relation, then my clients have that aha moment. And I'm like, that's why you have like I'm like a low to medium density, maybe more medium density, but everyone thinks I'm a higher density than I am. But you separate my hair and it's all frizzy in there. Like that's what gives me my volume. So
Ah.
frizz is good. I mean, the frizzier, the bigger my hair, the better. I think I'm on like day 4 right now. I can't wait to get to day 7.
Ah! Oh my gosh, it looks so beautiful. So on day 1, are
Mhm.
you less frizzy?
Oh yeah, I'm like
And so
everything
the
is
so
really
the more
condensed.
yeah, the more frizz, that means the more lived in it is. And we can bring
Mm,
that term, that technique, right? We have lived in color. We
yeah.
can bring that into the curly hair community, lived in curl.
That's
That's
actually
kind of
in
what
my Instagram bio. It says corrective curl cuts and lived-in sets. Because I believe I like a lived-in hair. I like lived-in hair. I want my hands in my hair. I don't want to be so structured and delicate with my hair. Like I want to flip my hair and do all the things with it too. But the thing is, I know what products and I know how to set my hair up to get me that longevity, to keep that definition. I know what I like to see. But I am on like this mini mission to just have so many people embrace more of that lived in frizz hair.
Oh my gosh, I love that,
Yeah.
which is a perfect segue into, we want to talk about hair products and what those favorites are that you would recommend. Like, give me the top 5 curly hair products you would recommend to someone who is newly embracing their curl, or they're seasoned, but they never quite got it right.
You need a cleansing shampoo, not necessarily something that's going to be very clarifying. The first thing is we want to make sure that there's no buildup on the hair, right? So that's a conversation all on its own. But a cleansing shampoo, a great conditioner, gel, foam, and hairspray.
Oh, cleansing shampoo, a really good conditioner, gel,
Mm-hmm.
and what else? That was
Foam
foam
and
and hairspray.
hairspray. Yeah.
Wow. Hairspray and curls.
Hairspray.
I
Yes.
would never. I had no idea. I I'm like, "Ah!" I don't know. I feel sticky.
Yeah.
I feel frizz. When you
I
guys,
know.
go visit her page, because here is the real education on curls. I've not heard this take or, perspective before. So, I
Mhm.
love you for that. And I love the
Thank
I
you.
mean, I love that for the curly hair community.
Yeah. I like to keep it as simple as possible, and I found out that those 3, I can do so many different combinations. They
Mhm.
work on every single client that's been in my chair. But what the
Mm.
gel does, the gel locks in the water. That's what gives us our definition, gives us the hydrate, right? We're locking in hydration so that we can have moisturized hair. The foam is what gives me the really nice curl clumps, the volume. And then the hairspray is what helps me not only speed up dry time, but ensures that my curl cast is staying in place for longevity.
Ah, perfect. You hear that, everybody? I mean, yeah, get those 5 products for sure. And clients, when I said that, right? I said hairspray, oh my God, scary,
Mhm.
frizzy, all the things. And I think that's what clients get most afraid of,
Yeah.
is wearing their hair curly, maybe for the first time, and it just gets too big, and not necessarily the hair itself, but the process, it just is
Mhm.
beyond, right?
Yeah.
So, and you have to get up and go to work tomorrow, for example. So if I
Mhm.
wear my hair curly today, what is it going to look like tomorrow? Like what advice do you give curly clients for the protecting of protecting the curls overnight?
There's a variety of ways that we can preserve the curls. It depends on if you know your sleeping habits, when what works for you. Number one, satin silk everything. That's non-negotiable. Like
Okay.
every hair tie, every pillowcase, every bonnet, satin or silk. And then you can go into your bonnets if you want to keep something more condensed, or if you find comfort with that. You can also do a scrunchie. I do a scrunchie and I sleep on a satin pillowcase. That's what works for me because it makes sure that I can have a little bit of that frizz. If I wear a bonnet, my hair stays too perfect, and I don't want the perfect on myself. There is a lot of trial and error in finding what does work because that is the most challenging part. But the best way to keep your curls preserved is to start with a really great curl set from the very beginning. If you don't have that in place on day one when you wash your hair, everything else is going to fall apart.
Okay, I love those tips. Those are amazing. Let's get into some styling and the routine to parlay on what you just said. Because defining curls is the hardest part when you're wearing your hair curly. What's the best advice? Because what I heard you say was, now that I remember, is we don't want the perfect anymore. We're moving away from that,
Yeah.
right? So, what's the best advice that you have for someone, setting and defining those curls so that they are lasting?
Water. You need lots of water with curls. You need patience and you need the right tools. You need a great detangling brush. You need to make sure that your hair is absorbing water and holding on to water. And then you need a gel to lock all of that in.
You said it was really important that you get it set correctly to start,
Yep,
right? And you can't miss any of those steps or else you're going to have to be dealing with it the very next day. It's not going to hold.
exactly. If you are struggling with buildup, if your hair has a lot of buildup on there, your hair is not going to hold, right? First, we have to focus on releasing all that buildup, pairing with something that's really going to be cleansing, proper conditioning, proper detangling. Everything starts in the shower. If you are focused on the stylers, you're already 5 steps behind.
That's what I was looking for. Perfect. So it starts in how you manipulate the hair to begin with.
It starts with the cleansing. How clean is that canvas?
Yeah. Okay. And what about drying time? I know the hairspray speeds up the drying, but do
Mhm.
you recommend letting it dry natural or using a diffuser attachment on your blow dryer?
If your goal is definition and longevity, I definitely recommend a heat source, whether it's an overhead dryer or a diffuser, because that's going to lock that water and those products in a lot sooner. The sooner that we lock the water and the product in, the more longevity we're going to have. When we're air drying, our hair is out in the environment and the water is starting to quickly evaporate. And that's what's giving us that set that falls apart. So, partnering with heat, whether it's an overhead dryer or a diffuser, I love a 3 setting diffuser. I love three heat settings and 3 speeds, but I can work with anything. I can work with 1 setting, I can work with 2 settings. We can always find a way to make it work for you.
Yeah, and I always thought, I don't deem myself a curl specialist at all, although I do work with hair in its natural state. I don't use
Mhm.
chemicals on the hair. I like to straighten it, blow it out, make it look pretty, and then they leave. Like trying to style it into a curly style, that is a specialty in and of itself, in my opinion, especially from behind the chair, because it takes time to do these things.
Yes.
And I often wonder, when you do a wash and go, I feel that it's damaging for this reason because your ends are rogue. Even if you create a cast with products, I in my brain, water environment creates steam. Steam creates frizz. Like if you wash your hair in the shower,
Mhm.
it's straight, right? And you get in the shower with no shower cap, and those ends are all just crinkled up,
Mhm.
That's kind of what wash and go reminds me of. And people like to pull it up and put it in a ball on the top of their head. And I think the ends are just destroyed when you do that. Am I off base or do you see any validity in that?
I mean, definitely if you're going to be in the shower, you have to have a proper shower cap to protect and preserve everything for sure. Because, yeah, that
Even with
steam will
curly
get to
hair?
you, even with curly hair, especially with curly hair. Unless you're someone that I do have some clients that they feel that the steam actually brings that curl back and that works for them, to each their own.
I felt you when you said to use a heat tool to kinda set it in so that
Yeah.
it stays put. I
Yeah.
just feel when you just let it be, I think it's more, you have a greater chance to damage your ends. That's
Mhm.
just what I've always thought. And again, it's
Yeah.
my crazy little head and what I think.
I mean, there is some truth to that. I also believe that for my clients that air dry, I do ask how long does it take to air dry because one of my concerns is how long is that water sitting on your scalp, right? Because now there's going to be a challenging breeding ground in your scalp. So, and sometimes I'll even say, I just need you to give me 5 minutes of focusing a diffuser on your roots because your roots are staying too long, are staying wet too long, and that's not a healthy environment. So, can you at least give me that?
Oh,
So,
yeah. I get that because
yeah,
when, it's trapped under all your curls,
yeah.
and just like with anything where water settles, that
Hmm.
can't be good, you
No,
know? Mold and that mildewy smell,
yeah,
that's a real thing.
it's real. I've seen it.
Yeah. 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 Definitely, especially when they take extensions out, my word, because
Hmm.
those, especially a sew-in, when you do those cornrows, there's so much trapped under those cornrows
Hmm.
when you take that sew-in out. You would know nothing about that ever with those with that beautiful head of trusses that you have going on, but
I
for
have
those
seen mildew I actually used to see it a lot when I was living in Hawaii with children, like in a tropical environment. Kids that pull their hair back in the same scrunchie, in the same spot when their hair is wet, in those areas where that band constantly is, there's mold growing in that band. And that's where I've seen it.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I never would have thought about that, but I can completely
It makes,
see why
yeah.
that would happen. Yeah, that's logical. That makes sense. And, of course, this may be somebody actually asked me this, so I'm gonna ask you, even though I think I already know the answer.
Okay.
But for anybody that may be watching and wondering, is it proper to brush your curls when they're dry? When your hair when the curls finally dry, like your hair is now, is there any world that you take a brush to it?
To each their own. I mean, if I want to have a major Diana Ross moment, I'll brush my curls out. I think that that's a styling choice. There are some, like especially wavier hair, wavy curlies, they take a brush, they brush their hair out when it's dry, and it gives them more of that volume. But if you're doing it because you're trying to, from a mindset of controlling a curl or trying to fix something, then that's not what I recommend. But if you're doing it from a styling perspective, then yeah, go for it.
Yeah, and maybe perhaps someone needs to take a dry brush to create some of that lived-in frizz. Could that
Mhm.
be a possibility?
Yeah, that's what you're going for. I mean, I've had my moment when I was in third grade and my uncle came to my school to do my hair. Right back then, your parents would come and do your hair before the photos, and they sent my uncle because my mom and my aunt couldn't come, and he showed up with this comb, and he was just like, "No one, so your mom and aunt couldn't come. It's just me. Let's like see what happens." And my first thought was, I cannot wait because I know he's going to brush my hair out, even though he's not supposed to. And I'm going to have big Diana Ross hair, and I can't wait. And so in my photo, my hair's like half the photo. But I was so happy because I've always wanted someone to brush my hair out when I was a little girl. So I got my moment.
And your uncle came with it. Not only did he not have a brush, he
Yeah,
had a
here's a
comb,
little
which is
apple.
worse than a brush. Yeah, that would be a fun show and tell to show us that little photo. That is hilarious. I love men for that, and I love men for being up for the challenge too.
He's just like, we're going to let it do what it does and see what happens.
He's like, "I take one for the team today. Shoot, you got me." I love that. All right, so for those of us who in the business who aren't specialists
Mhm.
and just for hair enthusiasts in general, what is the curl method? because I know that is a technique, the curly girl method. It's a thing.
It's a thing.
Okay.
It's not my thing.
Yeah, tell me why, because again,
It's
this
a
one's
thing.
controversial.
So it's been a long time since I've really lived deep into what those methods and those techniques are. I did release a lot of that maybe like 4 years ago, where I was constantly struggling and with my hair, and I was following all these rules. Backtrack a little bit. I've probably been natural for 8 years. And when I first started, I followed all those rules, and it was so overwhelming. And I see the same overwhelm come in with my clients. So the curly method has a place for people that find a lot of success with it. For myself, if my clients find a lot of success with that, then also I'm going to support them and make sure that everything's in place, like in terms of how often are we cleansing, how what's the condition of your scalp, are you getting the results, are you hitting those goals? But if not, then we're going to really bring it back and keep it very simple. Let's wash your hair regularly. Let's make sure you're working with quality products. And then tell me how long you want your set to last. And tell me what you expect your hair to look like. Like, what are your goals? What is your lifestyle? And how do we balance those two to give you the right plan that's going to work day to day and cause zero overwhelm? That's
Yeah, I had a guest on who was the client of this method, and she just went on the warpath and just went after them and created a whole YouTube presence from a client's perspective
mhm.
and what it did to her hair, because her natural hair is a lot like yours, and it was straightened, it was down to her butt, and
Mm.
then we had to cut it into a pixie.
Oh
So,
gosh, it
yeah,
hurts.
yeah, so that's unfortunate, and again, I've also had people on this podcast who are firm believers in that technique. So, to your point, to each
Yeah.
their own. If it works for you,
Yep.
keep on keeping on, honey. Let it work for you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And you have a right to be mad when it doesn't.
Yeah, my goal is simplicity and healthy hair. I like to
Yeah.
keep it really simple, less overwhelmed. If I have clients coming in for the first time too, they bring in all their products, they're showing me all the things, and I'm like, how'd you like to get down to just two products? Let's just focus on what actually is working for you. Let's just start with gel. Once you figure out your routine with that gel, the dexterity, everything's working, let's add in another layer, right? Let's now add in foam. Let's now add in this. So every time they're coming back to me, I'm reassessing where they're at, reassessing their hair, and then seeing if they want to move forward or add something else on. Or if it's not working, let's try something else. But I'm not going to say, here's all the products, here are the rules, this is what you have to do, or else. Like, that's not realistic. That's not how I educate and how I serve my clients.
It definitely isn't realistic, because even the clients that I have that say, Kim, I want to try curly hair. What products should I use? And
Mhm.
it's like, that's such a loaded question,
Yeah.
because it could be literally anything or nothing. It could be one
Yeah.
thing, it could be five things, it could be 10 things that work. I mean, you know what I mean? It's so
Absolutely.
hard to shepherd them into this world of curls and give it, because what people are looking for is a blueprint. They're
Yeah.
looking for the answers. This equals this. This
Mhm.
plus this is going to equal this. And it's not. It
Never.
may do it this month, but next month
Exactly.
it's like, nah, nope, don't work anymore. So, yeah, I
Mhm.
appreciate Curly Specialist, because if you, just like you come to get your hair maintained or your straight styles, curly hair is equally as important that you have someone helping you to manage, or you will end up with dried out, broken hair,
I mean, and
for
our hair
sure.
changes so often that, like all of that, whether you're going through physical changes, having children, everything's going to start shifting. So having like eyes on it every 3 to 6 months is going to be really helpful too. Yeah. And
Yeah.
also like not being a cookie cutter stylist, where that's what kind of I came from, where I was in a space where I was only allowed to cut one way and like style one way. And I realized that wasn't working for me, and I didn't like the results that was coming back to my chair. And so now that I'm in my own space, I had to just kind of unlearn and release everything. All the rules went out the door, and I went right
Yeah.
back to my basics. And now I'm
Yeah.
seeing better results. I'm not only just listening to the client and kind of eliminating that guesswork and partnering and meeting them where they're at. I'm also utilizing all the tools in my toolbox. Sometimes I cut the hair wet, sometimes I cut it brushed out. It all depends on what's going on. But having access and having that unlearning has really helped me just become more confident in my skill set. And like I said, I'm having the best results in my clients' hair. Even like I'm cutting curls wet, and people would be like, "No, you can't cut curls wet." Yes, you can cut curls wet. You can cut
Yes.
curls brushed out. You can cut curls. You can cut curls any way that best suits you and the client.
Yes, absolutely. I was going to talk about that too. So I'm so glad you brought that up because for hairstylists and for clients who are sitting in a hairdresser's chair, do you have any tips that you can give for cutting curly hair? Do you care that it's straightened or that heat touches it? Or if it's, because I've always said cut where you're comfortable. But
Yes.
in the curl hair community, are there no-nos?
I think not knowing your basics, not understanding the shrinkage in hair, and not truly understanding the fabric, and not knowing how to set curls. For a lot of my stylists and my past assistants, it's if you cannot set these curls, you cannot cut them yet. Because by constantly setting them, you're understanding what's going on, how the fabric's changing from wet to dry and the in
Mm.
between. And once you have a clear understanding of that, you can anticipate how the shrinkage and what the hair is going to do. And then we can start cutting, but I don't believe that you should go right into cutting, not knowing how to wash and set them.
Yeah, no, those are great points, because tension changes because
Mhm.
not every curl is created equal,
Yeah.
and if you you know,
Yep.
so you if you don't understand tension and shrinkage, then you're right. You have no business cutting hair, in my opinion, wet.
Yeah.
Like, if you get it all consistent
Mhm.
first and then cut it until you actually understand the tension, the
Yeah.
shrinkage. Yeah, the buoyancy of a curl. And I know some people, like I said, they're heat free. Like heat
Mhm.
do not touch my hair. And for that reason, no heat, it's always wet, yada yada. A question I get from clients is, why won't my hair grow? I feel like I've
Mhm.
been stuck here. I haven't put heat. I haven't done this. I haven't done that. And I feel like I'm just stuck at this length. Is there a
Mhm.
correlation with, is there something about one head of curls that may be different from another? I know we have growth cycles, but is it just shrinkage that makes someone think their hair isn't growing? Do you get that question at all?
I do get that question, and it happened to myself. My hair was the same length for 2 years. And then looking back on photos, I'm actually seeing a very big change in the curl patterns themselves. And so I was like, okay, my hair was the same length, but it was getting healthier and healthier and healthier. And then once it was really, truly at its healthiest state, it kept growing out and then it finally dropped. And I share that with my clients as well. And I encourage them to take photos because you can see like your hair, in fact, is growing. It feels like it's getting shorter because it's getting curlier because you didn't realize the true potential you had in the first place. And now we're at your curliest.
Oh, that explains it all. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, do you hear that, everybody? So, struggle no more, just trust the process.
Hmm.
That's what
And you got
Anyea
to
is
get those trims.
Yeah, and get those ends. Yeah,
Yes, you
because
have to.
people I can't believe how many people still think their hair grows from the bottom. It just blows my mind. Um, and no shame,
Yeah.
because if you don't understand it, you don't understand it, but it definitely is a thing, which is so,
Yes.
so funny.
Mm.
So, anyway, moving on, can you explain, Anye, why there are different curl patterns on one head of curly hair? Because
I,
that's the other thing we get. We
yeah.
get, "Oh my god, look at my curls in the back, they're so loose and pretty," and then in the middle, it's super tight and yada yada. And how do you manage all of that in one head?
It's going back to like having a strong foundation, having a strong basics, having your clients making sure that you're really assessing the hair, right? It's so natural. Everyone has, just like our eyes, and everything is different, right? We don't have
Mhm.
anything quite the same, let alone a curl pattern. I
Mhm.
have frizzier areas all around my hairline than I do throughout the rest of my head. And when I was wearing my hair straight, those same areas were the hardest to straighten, and now they're the hardest to
Mhm.
curl. It's just
Ah,
what it is what it is, right? But making sure that you're having a proper assessment, really opening up the hair for professionals, really opening up the hair, going section by section, observing, looking, and being transparent. I'm so open with my clients. This is what I'm seeing. I'm noticing your hair's shorter hair. Did you experience breakage? Has it always been like this? Right? Just
mhm.
really having that really open-ended conversation with them to better understand their hair. A full assessment of the hair is going to make sure that you have a great mapping of where to cut and most importantly what not to cut, because not everything needs to be cut, right? It's more of a balancing act when it comes to curls. We don't necessarily have to cut every single thing, but it's really about making sure the ends are clean and that we have an overall balanced shape.
Oh, yes. Love that. And is there a world that chemicals come into the curly community? Like if they wanted to do a keratin Brazilian blowout to loosen the curl, for example, or a texturizer, do you recommend that at all on curly hair?
I don't. If my client asked me, I would not recommend it. If
Okay.
they decide that it is what they want to do, all I can do is best tell them what to expect and how to pivot when it comes to their styling choices. But it's not my recommendation.
No. So you don't work with any chemicals in your world at all, in your
No,
salon?
no, I
Okay.
don't. I actually don't even do color. I just do haircuts
Really?
and yeah, just haircuts and treatments. Yeah.
Snap, snap, snap. You know, I cut hair for the first 25 years of my career, and that's all I did was cut hair because
Hmm.
I worked with a color specialist and
Hmm.
she retired, and then I started doing color, and I swear my back hurts so bad these days, and I never had any back pain, any nothing, but that hovering over and the
Oh yeah,
the the inhaling of the chemicals
that
and the
part.
all of it, it's just like,
Hmm.
"Ooh, gosh, I don't know." Like, so
Yeah.
I am jealous that you still have that out of your life because I brought it into my life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I released color officially 3 years ago. I
Okay.
absolutely no longer do color since then.
And
Yeah.
how did that go for your clients?
It was a slow process. What was really great though was that I had relocated from Massachusetts to the Bay Area. So when I started in the Bay Area, I naturally was so booked with cuts that color kind of didn't really have room. And the color I did have, I could slowly start to like transition them to somebody else.
Okay, so now you have clients that you share possibly
Yes.
with other stylists, they come to you for the curls.
Yes.
All right, smart girls and guys, not to say that
Yeah.
they're all girls. Anya, can you elaborate on the best products for different curl hair types? If you have loose curl
Hmm.
versus tight coily,
Hmm.
what would you recommend for the loose curl versus the tight curly?
It depends on what their goals are going to be. Like, what are your goals? Do you want it to be, are you focused on just definition or are you focused on a lot of volume? But I have found that gel foam and hairspray is for everybody.
It's the trifecta.
And I use them in different ways. Some people I'll just use gel and a hairspray. Some, like if it's wavier, for example, out of my three gel, foam, and hairspray, if someone's really wavy, maybe we're just going to work with the foam and the hairspray. The hairspray is almost non negotiable because it's going to help put that extra cast on the hair and it's going to help the hair dry faster. And then with the gel, we can mix a gel and a foam together and get a really great consistency. So
Yep.
I feel like, but I just have found in those three, in the last 2.5 years, I don't reach for creams anymore. I have one gel that I love, but I also have another gel, a light hold gel, a strong hold gel, and then my foam. I don't like a strong hold foam. I like a medium foam because it gives me more flexibility and it stays wet in the hair as you're working through the hair. It doesn't dry so fast. And then the hairspray that I use is a wet, non aerosol hairspray, but just hairspray in general.
Oh, that's perfect. And why not creams?
Creams can be too weighty on the hair. Sometimes it can weigh the hair down. It also can cause the hair to take longer to dry. Like it puts a barrier on the hair.
Yeah, it has like emollients in it,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
yeah,
That help keep the hair hydrated, which is what you don't want. You want both. You want it to stay hydrated, but you also want it to dry.
yes.
You're using
Mhm.
the products that create a cast to trap in water,
Yeah,
actual water and
yes,
moisture versus getting it from the product.
yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, absolutely. What are the, most common misconceptions that you find about curly hair?
The brushing was one. I get a lot of questions about brushing, common misconceptions. I'm not supposed to shampoo my hair, or I'm not supposed to wash my hair less than a week. That's one of the things clients always come in and ask, how often should I be washing my hair? And I hear that I'm not supposed to wash my hair. I hear that I'm only supposed to use oils. I hear that I'm not supposed to use heat. I'd probably say those are the top ones. I get a
Yeah,
lot of
butters and oils and
all of
all
that.
of that too,
Yeah,
right? They're not
it's
supposed to
giving me
use.
moisture. Yeah.
Do
Or
you use butters at all?
I don't. I don't use butters. I don't use oils. I do have a scalp oil that I really do like for anyone that is having like situations. For example, my mom has some psoriasis on her scalp. And so this really helps to calm down any inflammation. And it's a dry oil. And so it's not as heavy, it's more lightweight, it evaporates. It's also microbiome friendly, which is really phenomenal because we know that it is going to be safe for that scalp surface. But in terms of like on the rest of the strands, if you want to use an oil, like use an oil, just make sure it's something that's not going to stick or be too heavy on the hair and cause buildup, right? Because the focus is making sure we're having a clean canvas, and having those oils on the hair is just going to set you back on wash day. You're just going to have to do a little bit more work to wash your hair. With my clients that do really love to use the oils and the butters, I just partner them with a great clarifying shampoo. So on wash day, we're making sure that that's coming out and it's not causing extra buildup on the hair.
Oh, perfect.
I'm a
And
pretty
are you
flexible stylist. I'm like, let's work. Let me work with you.
you know what? And that's what curls need. They have a mind
Yeah.
of their own. If you're not
Yeah.
working, you can't whip them into submission. Are you kidding me? Curl is like what? You know? Are you seeing any type of shift back to straight hair? I feel like I'm seeing that a little bit. Some of the
Mm,
curly girls wanting to wear their hair straight at least half the time now.
mhm. I mean, it's silk press season. It's coming up.
Oh, yes,
But
it
I
is.
I do have clients that like to go back and forth. So for those clients, I'll typically do a wet cut or a brush out cut on them to make sure that they're having that exact same silhouette and layered look that works both ways for them. But I'm seeing more lived in. I'm seeing more clients just being like, I just want my hair to just be bigger. I want less fuss. For me, a lot of my inspiration comes from like the 80s and the 90s hair, where it was just like tousled. And so I think whatever I'm doing with my hair is what I see coming into my chair. Like, because I don't know if I'm putting that energy out there, but now I'm seeing more clients like, I love my frizz and I just want my hair, I want less products and I want it more soft. I don't want to focus so much on the cast anymore. I'm like, I'm here for it. Let's do it.
Yeah, and you're a walking advertisement and you attract who you are,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I it was so nice to finally get to that place in my career once I got there to where I had a choice who
Yeah.
I invited into my life.
Right.
Oh my god. Where you're like, "If you change this energy in here, you gotta go.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. It's
Yes.
not worth your money. It's not worth
Not all
any of
money is good
this."
money.
Yeah. Not all money is good money. You are absolutely right. And so you're not doing any straight pressing, any hot tool. You are strictly the curls. And if one of your clients wants a silk press, they need to go to somewhere else.
They need to go somewhere else, but I also have people that I do recommend. I always have a recommendation for something my client wants to do. And being that I'm in image studios, I have seen a lot of great stylist hair and I've seen some of their clients come to me. So there's nothing like more kind of satisfying and comforting to me knowing that I I can send someone somewhere and know that it's going to be a good experience. Like that's very important to me. I can't do it for you, but here I have someone that I trust and that I've seen their work come back to me flawless. So
Yeah, and it's a trust thing too,
Yeah.
because you have to find stylists that aren't going to damage your client's curl pattern
Yes. Yeah.
because you work too hard on
Hmm.
the health of their curls for them to come back to your chair with heat damage.
Yes.
You
Absolutely.
know, so the
Yeah.
heat protecting is so important on
Yes.
people that actually wear their hair curly. You
Hmm.
have to protect against that heat because those stringy ends, you end up having to
Hmm.
cut your curl
Yeah.
shorter than, and shrinkage is real, and people are
Hmm.
they wanna cut 1 inch shorter because of the shrinkage,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
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 So, yeah, it's important to have people that you trust to collaborate with.
Yes.
Absolutely. So when you leave the salon, because dealing with all of these curls all day, all these different energies, I love all my
Mm.
some days, girl, I am like, "Oh my god, I am exhausted." You have a different conversation every hour, my god, right?
Mhm.
So, what keeps you up at night at the end of the day when you go home? Because sometimes and what I mean by that is, sometimes I've done something that I was like, "Oh my god, why do I keep doing that?" Like, something that I probably need to strengthen my skill a little bit. Those are the kind of things that keep me up at night. I think about where I messed up, even if the client didn't see it.
Yeah, I
What
know
are
that.
yours?
It's when I don't listen to my gut. Every single time, whether it's I don't align with this client and I knew I wasn't going to align and I still let them in. And when energies don't match,
Mhm.
it's nothing personal. It's just an energy that, it's not aligned. Or when I try and do something new and not stick to like exact, like it just actually just happened the other day where I was like, I knew I should have strengthened that base. I knew I should have strengthened that base, but I went ahead and did the layers first. I mean, it's gonna be fine, but like, after at the end, you're just like, oh, I should have did the other thing.
Yes, that's
It's
what I'm
my
talking
gut
about,
every
where
time.
I'm like, "Oh, I tried it and I knew I shouldn't have,
Yeah,
but I did, and I thought it was gonna be good, and then it wasn't," and the client's like, "Oh my god, I love it." I'm like, "Oh my god, you shouldn't love it. That was so not good."
we're so hard on ourselves, but
Sometimes when your clients
oh,
yeah, when your clients leave, you feel like you're letting them walk out of your salon with toilet paper on the bottom of their shoe. I swear to goodness.
yeah, it's like an art. I think it's an artist thing. Like sometimes I'll be like, "Ooh, should I message them?" I'm like, no, don't, because there's literally nothing wrong. You're just being like, I'm overly critical. And if you message them now, they're gonna think something's wrong. So it's this whole. That's what I'm laying in bed, like just spiraling like that.
Oh my god, that's you answered exactly how, because I'm like, "Am I the only one that just literally loses sleep over
Yeah,
something I've done in the salon?" It's so crazy, and to your point, you can't point it out, you can't call yourself
yeah,
out
yeah.
because it's just like now that's a trust issue. They kinda if
Hmm.
you're second guessing, now
Yeah.
they're second guessing you, you know?
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
I
like,
mean,
nah,
if
just
they
if they reach out, they reach out. But if they don't put it out in the universe. It's probably
okay,
fine. You're
don't
thinking too much.
yeah, exactly, and if clients only knew the weight of the world that we carry on
Yeah.
our shoulders, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So, Anyea, it was lovely chatting with you today. I learned so much about curly hair, even though I've been in the industry as long as I have, but you actually have a unique point of view, which I appreciate. I've not heard, and it's hard to be in the industry this long and something get by you that you haven't heard already. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Thank you. That
I
means so much.
appreciate that. Yeah, any bright stars in your future? Like what anything exciting coming your way?
I like to say I stay ready. I just stay ready for anything. My husband is active duty military, so I really never know what's gonna happen. But I
Mm.
know that if I just really stay focused on my self care, my craft, who I am, just constantly growing, constantly staying out of my box so I can learn anything that comes for me, I'm going to be ready for. But I am launching a education platform for myself. So it'll be cutting and styling for professionals. I'm
Oh
really
my
excited for that
gosh.
by next year.
Yeah, tell us more about that. What are you calling it?
It's called Curls Are Iconic because it's really comes from a place of the 80s and 90s. I just live for that iconic big hair, and I just have always believed that no one gives curls like kind of the respect that it deserves. Everyone's kind of pushing us to the side or trying to control us, or trying to put us in boxes and trying to define us, whether it's through charts or through the actual definition of the curls itself. Everything about our hair like is not only so iconic, but like everyone that has straight hair is trying to get half of what we have just so they can have bigger hair. So it's, yeah. It's for
You
the
know
little girl
what?
in me that struggled and watch 80s videos all day and wish she had Diana Ross hair.
Yes, I like that. Stand on business and let the people know. When were you born? What era?
81.
Oh, wow, you're an '80s
Yeah.
baby. So is
Yes.
my son. He's a late '80s, but yeah,
Mhm.
that's cool, yeah, and I was in high school in 1981. I was a freshman in high school
Could
trying to
not
look like
tell me
Janet
not.
Jackson.
Janet
Janet
is
Jackson.
everything. I got like 3 Janet albums up on my wall right
Do
now.
you?
Yes, Janet is
Janet
everything for
Jackson,
me.
what she's such an icon, and I don't feel like she
Absolutely.
gets the respect she
Yeah,
deserves as far
right?
as being iconic is
I'm right there
concerned.
with you. I'm right there with you. That's the big
Yeah.
one right there. Like
Yeah, everybody wanted her hair, everybody. She
she
set
was
so many
she was
trends.
always on it. She was always ahead. She was always individual, like totally iconic. Yeah.
And I wanted not to like her because, of course, we don't wanna like pretty girls. We just don't, and I went to her
Oh,
concert,
uh-huh.
The Velvet Rope Tour.
Oh, wow.
And oh my god, not only was she the sweetest, the
Mhm.
sweatier she got, the more
Ooh,
beautiful she
yes.
got. She was so humble, that little voice. She was such a
Mhm.
girl's girl, all of it. I was like, "Okay, I love you forever,
No, I'm
Janet."
obsessed with Janet. My mom used to take me out of school to watch her music videos when they were, because we didn't have like recorded videos back then. So she would
Oh,
actually let
no.
me get out of school early to watch it live.
Go mom. Go
Yeah.
mom. My son was more Michael Jackson everything. Michael Jackson,
Mhm.
that was his whole thing,
Yeah.
being a little boy of the '80s. So fun. I love that. I said, "I'm
Such a
gonna
good
do
time.
a whole episode on just the '80s." Wouldn't that be
Love the
fun?
80s. I loved the 80s. I mean, I was a 90s kid, but everything, right, when your 90s is like the decade before, so all the 80s stuff is like what I was consuming. 70s and 80s, like I just could not get enough of it. But I loved growing up in the 90s. Even when it was in the 90s, I remember thinking like this is gonna be like the best. Like these 90s are the best.
Yeah,
It
the '80s and the '90s
was such a good
were
time.
the best. They were at your age and my age, some of
Mhm.
the best times of my life. So, and, fun fact quickly, the new trend on TikTok is to do your makeup like Sade. And Sade, she became popular in the late '80s, and she got
Mhm.
me through so many breakups. I
Yeah.
just loved Sade so much. To this day,
Aw.
she is my favorite singer.
I
I
love
pulled my hair back in homage to her. I
yes.
did the red lip. I
Yes.
did everything so that she's back, and, I didn't have the bushy eyebrows. Other than that, but I love seeing this, next generation, doing their makeup and hair like Sade. That's
Oh my
it
god,
kicks
I
back.
gotta check it I haven't come across that yet, I gotta check it out.
Oh, yeah, go on TikTok, girl, that's where it is, right? Alrighty, so nobody gets out of here without my rapid fire 60-second blowout, I call
Okay.
it, but 60-second blowout, that was last year. I'm kinda putting a new twist on it, so you're my first
Ooh.
guest to, experience my 2.0 version of my 60-second blowout. And I'm calling this one of my favorite hair products by TG called Head Rush. I love that product.
Okay.
And so this is called Head Rush. All righty.
Okay.
It's going to be more scenario based
Okay.
versus, one word answers. Okay.
Got it.
You ready?
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know. I'm scared. All right, Anye. Would you rather fight 100 duck sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
Wait. Duck, like a
Let me
quack
ask
quack?
you again.
Duck size?
Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck. That means
Oh,
100 little tiny horses or one big ginormous duck.
oh man. Maybe I think I'm a one-on-one fighter.
All right, the big duck, bring it on. All right. If you could have dinner with any 3 people, dead or alive, who would they be?
Oof. Janet. Janet Jackson's one. Um, this is deep. I'm one of those
Yeah.
people that I go deep.
Yeah, go deep.
Um,
Janet Jackson.
Probably be my best friend Maya, who passed away 2 years ago because I never really got to say
Aw.
goodbye.
Aw, may she
And
rest in peace.
then, thank you. And oh my gosh, that is tough.
Who do you love most in the world?
I was actually gonna say I've always wanted to have a conversation with past me, like little girl me, and just be like, or just like to observe her in her world and just like
I
revisit my inner
love that
child.
answer. I love that answer.
I'd
Oh
like to know
my
like kind
god.
of what she
That
was like, just that sci-fi moment of like connecting the dots and just kind of seeing her in her essence. I thought she was really quiet. She's very quiet, but she was always thinking. So I'd love to kind of sit down and be like, I don't know, one on one with
Oh my
myself.
gosh, I
A
love
little
that.
me.
That is a beautiful answer. I love that. Alrighty, if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Oh, wow.
Would you wanna fly? Would you wanna read minds?
Oh,
Would you want to be invisible? Like, what would it
I
be?
think I'd want to be invisible because I
Mhm,
like to people watch.
mhm. Without them noticing that you're staring a hole in 'em?
And I believe in
Yeah.
ghosts. So I'm like,
Oh,
wonder what they
oh,
see. I
you're
want
like,
to see what they see.
okay, I'm gonna give you a couple more.
Okay.
Okay, Anya, you're a burglar,
Yeah.
okay?
Okay.
But you can only steal things that mildly inconvenience your victims. So, what are you stealing?
Oh, this is like that. You steal the backing off earrings, right? You steal the
Yes!
batteries out of the remote
Yeah.
controls. You steal all the light bulbs. You just steal all the hangers. Like you steal the little things. Oh
Oh
my
my god,
gosh.
you be gangster. You be the best.
I would have so much fun with that though, honestly. Like
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Okay, last one. Would you rather only be able to whisper or only be able to shout?
it's probably gonna be a whisper. I naturally just have a softer voice. And whenever I yell, I feel like I don't even know that person.
Same,
Yeah.
same. I'm more soft-spoken.
Mhm.
Yelling actually gives me a headache,
Yeah.
and I love my mama so much, but my mom, she had 5 babies, and she
Wow.
that voice was voicing, and I'm like, "Ooh, do not yell. I need quiet."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whisper.
Alrighty. Oh my gosh, what a fun time I had learning more about you, Anya. Now you're a real person in my life versus someone who posts amazing reels on Instagram.
Thank
So
you.
where can anyone, if you're in the Bay Area or anywhere else, where can they find you?
Emphasis on curls across all social platforms.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Have the best day, and I will hopefully have you on again someday.
Yes, I'd love that.
All right.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Anya.
Bye.